I don't even want to look. This is getting too hard. Not pregnant. Does that mean yes? What is that? Doesn't even look like a line. It looks like a malfunction of the test. Not pregnant again. That other test like messed with me. My period has been late now for a week, and I thought this was gonna be the month for sure. This is month 9. I'm starting to get scared. I know there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with conceiving with additional help or anything. Like, it's good, but I just feel like a failure. I just don't know what's going on. How do I still have mascara on? I just don't want this anymore. I want God to come through. I know he will. I have to believe. That's so cute. Hey guys, it has been a while. Major life update today. I'm so excited to be back. Thank you so much for all of your messages that you've been sending me, your DMs, your emails, asking how I'm doing. The first few clips that you guys saw was me attempting to try to capture the very first moment that I was gonna find out if I was pregnant or not. So that's kind of like the purpose of filming those first little bits. I think what I wanted to do was capture that moment so that I could show my future children one day, like, this was the exact moment that mama knew you were coming. So that's why I did that. And then as you can tell, the amount of times I was doing that and getting a no was just getting to be so stressful, so anxiety provoking. And this was before the fertility journey that you guys know about. As I was getting closer to that year mark, I started realizing I don't want to film this anymore. It's too stressful. It's too painful as well, going through this every single time. And I could feel my anxiety just driven every single time I was doing that. So I felt kind of sad that I couldn't really capture that moment that I wanted, but of course the fertility journey took us on a bit of a turn. So you guys know, if you haven't seen my other video, I will link that video as well, talking about kind of the first steps of our fertility journey, but we went through that for a couple of years as well. And then I think I left off with you guys sharing that I was about to do the Lupron treatment. So around a year ago now, they were prepping me for that treatment, basically saying it is worth a shot. You don't have to do it, of course, but if you want to, it will basically reset my system. So they give you a lot of hormones to basically suppress you, put you all the way down so that, you know, your estrogen gets really low. And they basically say, okay, you are going to feel some symptoms of menopause, hot flashes, which I did. You're going to feel moody, which I did. Those were the main two, I think. It was so overwhelming, but I thought, you know what? If I don't do this and then we transfer another embryo and it doesn't work, the regret and just the thought of that was just too much. I was like, I can't think about if I missed out on doing this opportunity of this treatment, which it is going to be intense. It is going to put my body through a heck of a lot, but I can't look back and be like, what if, you know? So we did that in July and August. It was a 2-month treatment. And then we prepared for our transfer number 3. This is our 3rd one. I think I told you guys in my last video, I did have 2 transfers prior that did not take. And I did end up doing a 2nd retrieval, and we got another 2 embryos from that one. So we ended up transferring our 3rd one in October. And it was actually kind of cool because, not that I like totally believe in this kind of stuff, but the date of transfer was October 10th. So it was 10/10. That's actually my lucky number. I love thinking about stuff like that. So 10/10 was the day We go in and I'm thinking, okay, here we go. It's happening for a third time. I honestly don't really know how much energy I have left. Like, I don't know how much more patience I have. When you go through a journey like this, it is truly something that weans on you, wears on you, and if you're not careful, you can lose hope really quickly. And I think that's something that I fought against, especially after losing my second one. I thought, I don't know what else we can do. Like, I want to be a parent so bad. This is not only just like a lot on my body, but it's very, very stressful. And you know, you kind of do these things with the chance of it happening. So you put this money forward and your body through it for a maybe. And it really is scary, but we went in with hope, as we always do, prayed over the situation, and 2 weeks later, we found out that, I don't want to get too emotional, I don't think I will, but I've had a lot of moments where I've cried about this already, but our third transfer worked, and I'm so happy that we got our miracle child, and I'm pregnant currently. So a lot of you guys sniffed that out. I really tried to give you guys more of an update earlier in the year. I think I posted something around January saying that I was gonna, you know, had a couple hearts there, like, oh, a pink heart and a blue heart. And I was like, video coming soon. And honestly, I had the intention to do it, but my pregnancy has not been easy. So I will talk about that a little bit as well. But all of these symptoms and stuff kind of like derailed me a little bit from hopping back online at the time that I wanted to. So I ended up needing to take a little bit more of a break. But a lot of the cute comments that came in on that were like, oh, are you pregnant? Is that twins? And I was like, oh crap, I probably shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said 2 hearts because it looked like maybe there were 2 babies. What I meant was like boy or girl at the time, but it was so cute. Like, twins? No twins, for sure no twins. We transferred 1 embryo. I believe I was told that there is still a chance that you could have 1 embryo split into 2 and have identical twins, but the chance of that's pretty low. So we definitely don't have twins, but I will tell you everything because I do know everything now. So in my first trimester, as you can expect, there were some symptoms. For me, it was consistent nausea that made me feel so incredibly ill. I wasn't actually throwing up, which I really appreciated because I don't like doing that. Don't think anybody does. But at the same time, there were moments with this nausea that were so brutal that I almost wished I could throw up just for that extra like relief, just for like a half an hour of relief. But I was never puking. It was just consistent nausea. I did try one medication. It's the one in Canada that is approved, Diclectin, and it took the edge off really, but it didn't do much for me. Like, I basically suffered through it, sadly. That was the biggest symptom I would say in first trimester. I also had what I would call like midnight hunger or something because I would often wake up at like 3, 4 in the morning and be starving. And I feel like I was eating enough during the day, well, as much as I could because I was so nauseous. I would have like little bites of things like almonds, crackers. It was tricky to kind of get food down. Really not interested in it, but I just had this like ravishing hunger in the middle of the night. So I would have like snacks beside my bed. And I remember my husband waking up and being like, you are waking me up because of like your little munchies. And he felt bad that I was up, obviously, but it was really, really funny that he was just like another munchie night, because that was really all it was. The whole day, it was such a struggle with the nausea. I wouldn't say I was bedbound per se, but I really felt like I couldn't do anything. It was so, like just not something I would ever wish on anyone. There was one point towards the end of first trimester that really scared me, and it was, I ended up getting blood. I want to say it was like week 11, like it was really close to that end. You know, when you're week 12 and beyond, you're kind of out of that scary zone of like a big probability of a miscarriage happening. And I was so close on that cusp and I saw blood. And I remember being like, this cannot happen now. Like, I have never been pregnant before. I'm finally pregnant. And now what, you know? And that definitely tested me, tested my faith. I was like, you know what? No, try to be as calm as you can. Let's figure this out. And luckily it was just a little bit of blood coming from my cervix. It was a little bit irritated because of all of the medications that the clinic was giving me to supplement my pregnancy. When you go through an embryo transfer, you have medications to take, and a lot of it is a progesterone that you insert vaginally. So I think I was just shooting it up a little bit too high, and it was getting irritated and then therefore bleeding. So that was explained. Thank goodness. Baby was okay, but I just had that moment there where I'm like, this cannot happen now. Like, it just can't. Luckily, we were coast clear. There's one very important detail that I forgot to tell you about my first trimester, and that is that this little guy knew that we were pregnant before we did. So I confirmed with the vet because I was like, he's doing something he's never done before. He's lying across my belly. Thank you, buddy. He's lying across my belly, almost like in a protective mode. Like, why is he doing this? And she said he can actually smell hormonal changes, which is kind of like a little gross, but at the same time really insane and really smart. So he was able to smell the HCG hormone that was being released when baby implanted. Around 14 weeks-ish is when my nausea stopped. Then I got a new symptom that was probably even more challenging than the nausea. This is typically a symptom that you see later on in pregnancy. So because I saw it at the very beginning of my second trimester, it was a little bit more on the rare side, and it's definitely not genetic. It's pubis symphysis pain. It is a like agonizing pain in your pelvis, and it can be in a variety of spots. For me, it was in the pubic bone. It was excruciating. And this was probably the symptom that made me really slow down. Kind of working was not the easiest to do. It was just consistent pain. I had to see a pelvic physio right off the jump. So it was a bit of an investment doing that because you do have to kind of go weekly for that. And I wanted to get that intervened quickly because I knew at 14 weeks, I didn't even have much of a belly yet. And I was like, when I have more weight in the front, it's just going to put more and more pressure on the pelvis. So I need to get this addressed. And it was excruciating, and it still is because I am still pregnant. But it is something that adds that extra layer that I'm like, dang it, you know, if I'm not careful, I could look at it and be like, of course, this is like the cherry on top to like an already bumpy, you know, pre-pregnancy journey. Now we're in pregnancy. Of course, you're going to throw something like this in my way. But I just kind of took it like, what is the alternative? Not being pregnant, maybe. That might be the alternative. Perhaps this is the path I had to walk. So that kind of gave me a little bit of reassurance to keep pushing through. Going for walks was tricky. I really enjoy going for walks with Harvey. And I remember at 14 weeks, I was still able to do probably like a half-hour walk before I got really sore and had to sit down and felt like it feels like bone is rubbing. And as my belly grew, the mobility also decreased. Besides the pelvic pain, I was doing pretty well, I would say, and we were getting really close to finding out what the gender is. So I will tell you the gender because we did find out in such a special way, actually. So we went on our baby moon in second trimester. We went to Cancun, Mexico. We've been there year over year for quite a few years and kind of going back to the same resort every single time because we really love it. What I ended up doing was I went to an ultrasound clinic here in Winnipeg, and I got them to take pictures of the gender of the child and then put them in an envelope for me. And I also got them to email the result to the resort. What they did was they dressed up our room. So when we actually checked in, we walked right in and there were balloons everywhere of a very specific color. So we were able to see exactly what it was. And for some reason in our heads, we thought we were having a girl. But we are actually having a boy. So that was really sweet. But we actually opened the door and we're like, oh my gosh, this is a boy. It was really wild and super exciting, of course, but that's what they did. I'll show some pictures here as well. It was really well done. We were so impressed with what they did. That was kind of how we did our little gender reveal. It wasn't like a massive party or anything. It was just something that we had done together, something that I just wanted to do, the two of us as well. And then we started thinking of names right away. So that is something that I'm gonna probably keep until he is born. We do have a name in mind, but I'm gonna probably tell you guys that after. But that's kind of what happened with our baby moon. It was really sweet. Second trimester basically was just dealing with that pelvic pain. To kind of describe it, because it's still happening to me right now, it's almost like you can't sit for too long because it really hurts. You can't stand for too long. You can't walk for too long. You're really like constantly moving around, but often very uncomfortable. My pelvic physio did tell me that she has seen a bit of an increase in pelvic pain with women that have gone through infertility. We don't know why, but that's probably been the hardest thing, I would say. It's been something I'm really excited, like looking forward to the end of this pregnancy, being able to deliver, of course, to meet him, but also like, oh my gosh, I'll be able to walk again. So now going into third trimester, I want to say the things that have really stuck out to me when it comes to symptoms is just the nausea returning a little bit. Luckily not too bad, but a little bit on and off. The headaches a little bit. Luckily my blood pressure has been completely stable the entire time, so that's been great. In third trimester now we're testing for diabetes. I don't have gestational diabetes, so that's also a nice blessing, a nice to have. The thing that's been happening with us in third trimester as we're getting closer to the end, because right now, as I'm speaking to you, we are very close to the end. He has been flipping around quite a bit. He'll be head down for a little while and then back to side lying and then head down and back to side. So right now we're getting very close to the end and he is definitely side lying and staying put. Unfortunately for that, that will be kind of limiting my choices when it comes to delivery. If he is side lying, then he will be a C-section. Obviously it doesn't work the other way if he's on his side. So that is something that I've kind of come to terms with as well. I didn't really anticipate that. I kind of thought, be nice to have a vaginal delivery because it seems like the recovery is not as bad or not as intense. But, if his position is a certain way, my hands are tied. We have tried everything as well. It's been like absolutely everything we've tried. I mean, from, standing on my head to backflips, you name it, obviously not. But yoga positions, being on my ball constantly, bouncing, tilts, doing the circles, acupuncture, you name it. And I've kind of come to terms with just like trusting my baby that if he's side lying, there's a reason. And maybe that's just how it is, right? I've heard of some stories of people having a C-section happen because their baby was a certain way, whether breech or side lying, and finding out once they deliver that there was something that was in the way that made being head down completely unsafe or not possible. So I'm trying to like trust that, but they're also saying to me at these last end of these weeks here that he's getting close to 9 pounds. So maybe a C-section isn't so bad to go through. But that's really where we're at. I mean, there was one point too, I think in second, where I had a little bit of another scare with blood, but it actually ended up being my mucus plug. So I lost my mucus plug early and kind of thought, oh, am I going to go into early preterm labor? But you can sometimes just lose your mucus plug, right? It will grow back. So very interesting. But that is where we're at right now. So right now we're really just, at least for me, I'm anticipating the arrival of our baby boy. If you looked at my update back then, there were moments where I was feeling like this may never happen for us. And am I going to start wrapping my head around the fact that I may not actually be a mom? Am I going to be content with just having pets? Being a fur baby mom, which is totally fine. So all of that kind of stuff, I remember looking back and being like, despite everything we've gone through, we're here. It's happening. So excited to meet him and seeing him on these scans and just like, what is he going to look like? And all these things I never thought I'd get to. I'd really never thought that I'd be here, and I'd never actually get to envision this. And even kind of towards the end, right? Like thinking that I was gonna for sure have a vaginal birth. Well, it might not end up being like that. Maybe it'll be a C-section, and that's okay. I just feel so close. I mean, my belly is massive. I don't even know if I can show you, but I feel it in my face too. I have like a little bit of extra puffiness in my face. Feel it in my hands, not so much my feet, but a little bit of, maybe fluid or whatever. When I found out that we were pregnant, I was able to tell my husband as well. That was something that I thought was going to be robbed of us because we were doing that together. And I thought, he's going to find out when we have our blood work result and we're going to find out at the same time, and that's just equally as special. But I would see a lot of other women out there that would find out first and then be able to surprise their partners. And that was something that I kind of always wanted, but thought, well, maybe that just won't happen for me. And sure enough, I tested the day of my blood test. I tested when he was at the gym, and he told me not to because, you know, if it was another no, I would have known by myself and be devastated by myself. And he wanted to support me. So he was like, please don't test. Like, I don't want you to go through anything sad if I'm not there. And I'm like, okay. And I couldn't help myself. I did. And I was so terrified to see the result. I just like tucked them behind a vase in my bathroom and like ran out the bathroom. The tests were behind that vase, but the mirror was right there. And I saw the result reflected in the mirror. 2 solid lines and on 2 tests. And I was just like, we made it. But we have his nursery ready. We have all the baby things ready. My hospital bags are packed. We're like that close to meeting him. So I wanted to share that with you. I have a massive Sephora haul coming because it's kind of like a cumulative haul from like many months of sort of doing little trips here and there. So I'll share that really soon and also get back to reviewing some amazing products for you guys. Thank you so much for watching and for all of your amazing messages. Until my next one, guys, I will see you very, very soon. Bye, guys.